Hi everybody and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be giving you a slide presentation full of proof and reasons why I know that I'm asexual and that asexuality exists in general. So I came prepared and I hope you enjoy. I'm recording this on my laptop with a very silly headset, so this is going to sound quite silly. But without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, what does that even mean? What does that mean? Maybe you've never heard the word before. Maybe you have heard the word, but you don't really understand it. You just brushed it off. Well, you're in luck because you've come to the right video. Here are some basic definitions, very broad, very surface level, but these are just like probably the most important that you need to keep in mind for the purpose of what we're going to be talking about. So asexual just means a person who feels little to no sexual attraction. And aromantic, similarly, is a person who feels little to no romantic attraction. Now that you understand and you're super smart, we can really talk about more specific subjects and reasons as to why I know that I'm asexual. But back to me. I I maybe have not memorized this entirely, but that's okay because I'm just still a great uh presenter. I this will be fine. Anyway, we're focusing on me because this video is mostly about me and my experiences because I can't speak for other people because I'm not them. I'm me. And me is or I am. I am gray sexual and gray romantic. For a while, I thought that I might be demisexual, but I was later figured out. Wait, I also just want to remind you that I have a disability and I am experiencing a lot of brain fog right now. So it would be a reasonable accommodation for you to just hear me out at least a couple more seconds before you leave the video. Demisexual means that you just have to know someone for a decent amount of time and get to know each other, and establish an emotional connection before you feel sexual interest. And gray sexual, which is what I actually am, just means that that kind of it's kind of similar, but more specific needs and requirements need to be met before I'm even really interested in anybody else sexually or romantically. To simplify it, you'd really just need to be built different, I guess, if you want me to be interested in you. Anyway, let's look at the facts, shall we? I'm gonna present you with some facts. And the facts of the matter are number one, I don't experience sexual attraction. That is that's really the biggest reason that I know I'm asexual is because I don't feel sexual ness really ever. I don't feel that. And when hearing about it from other people or when other people would tell me their experiences or their thought process or their emotions when they had those kind of romantic or sexual encounters, I genuinely thought that they were joking. I thought it was a joke and I didn't even second guess myself because I was just thinking, wow, nobody would actually like that or actually think that. So they're just clearly joking. And I'm very sarcastic. So yeah, I thought it was a joke. I realized that it wasn't a joke. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm the joke then. Or not the joke, but maybe I'm um not what I thought I was. I would like to point out that I do like certain aesthetics. I think certain aesthetics are very nice and I would like to be around them. I would like to appreciate them, but that is not the same thing as sexual or romantic attraction. It's different. So, yeah. Fact number 2, I don't have any fantasies. I don't have any kind of romantic or sexual fantasies. And once again, when hearing about it from other people or when seeing something like in a movie or TV, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was exaggerated for the purpose of storytelling. Most of my life, the closest thing that I have had to a fantasy of sexual or romantic nature, I never went past a PG rated movie. It really didn't. It would like just for example, holding hands or like if it was a married couple and they like kissed and then like it faded to black and then we wake up the next morning with that couple and that's pretty much as far as anything ever got in any of my daydreams in the past that I rarely had. So yeah, moving on to fact number 3. I didn't know what smut was until a couple months ago. I am not kidding. This is not a joke. I am being so serious with you right now. I am 20 years old and I just recently learned what smut actually was. Before that, I'd obviously heard the word, but I just had a misunderstanding of the word. I thought that smut meant kissing someone a little roughly and then maybe pushing them into a wall as well. That's what I thought smut was. That's how far I thought smut went. And to say it was a rude awakening would be an understatement. I was basically traumatized. It was a disaster. I'd never even thought of those words in that order before, and I don't want to ever think them again. I don't understand the appeal. It doesn't appeal to me. It's not for me. No shame. I had a very big misunderstanding and I realized that I do not want to take part in it whatsoever. Um Let's move on to fact number 4. I don't go solo. So, this is not an appropriate question to ask anyone. Alas, I included it because unfortunately it happens more often than it should. And I'm just going to use goofy code words and be super vague. Just touch on it very briefly and say it's not enjoyable. I don't see the appeal. The only thing that I do see is some minuscule health benefits and improvements. But other than that, again, it's not for me. No, thank you. Now enjoy this brief intermission while you can look at some cake that I found. It looks very tasty. I know I want to eat it. It's so good. Now would be a good time to get up and use the restroom or maybe get some more popcorn for this thrilling adventure. Okay. You're all settled back in? Good. Let's move on to the strongest arguments. Because I am an educated individual and I want to be presenting concrete facts and really solid proof and argument that I am asexual, that it is a thing that's real, and that deserves your respect. We will be looking at a couple of the strongest arguments. However, they are still very weak. So I will be tearing them apart presently. Let's look at the first one. It's a natural thing, so you must be confused. I have a couple notes on this. It is a natural thing, romantic and sexual relations. Yes, that's natural. That's a thing that we've done for a long time. However, it's a thing that I personally don't enjoy. And me not liking it does not break the space-time continuum or defy any natural laws at all. It just means that I don't like it. There are many things that could be argued that are natural. For example, homicide or homicidal ideation. You can make an argument that that's natural. However, it's not really something that's okay. And just because something is natural or it's a natural impulse or feeling or emotion or thought, even if it is natural, it doesn't mean that it's required or that it's the best way to do something or get something done or communicate. So it, it being natural doesn't mean that I automatically have to enjoy it. Also, have you considered the fact that you're just maybe wrong? Because it really depends on what type of species or biological organism you're talking about when you're saying that it's natural. Moving on to number two. You just haven't met the right person yet. People who say this, I want to know how you would know that. I want to know what makes you think that. Is there like a hidden achievement badge that I'm missing and you can just tell or something? Like, how can you be so sure? And maybe I did, and something else got in the way, or that right person is existing, and I just don't want to do that kind of thing with them. Anyway, there are a couple misconceptions that I think influenced this idea because just because someone is asexual or aromantic does not mean that they will never have a partner. It does not mean that they don't want a partner. It also does not mean that they will never engage in romantic or sexual relations ever again. All it means is that they don't enjoy that type of thing or they don't inherently like that. However, there are many different kinds of emotions and feelings and dynamics to a relationship. I would also like to say that there are multiple different kinds of love. There are at least seven different kinds of love. And just because I don't enjoy the sexual type of love doesn't mean that I'm going to like live in a cave with bats and die alone, never having touched people or grass again. Like that's not what that means. That's not how it works. Feels like you're really stretching this into something very very drastic, very extreme, and yet also very vague. Another thing is that independence is cool and self-love is cool. You don't need a partner or a relationship to feel fulfilled with yourself or to enjoy life at all. Next point. You've never had sex before. So, this is another point where it's like, how would you know that? How do you know that? People can just be saying stuff sometimes. Do you realize that? People can just say anything. How would you know what they have or haven't actually done? Another thing that people say with this line of thinking is like, oh, you haven't had it, you don't know what you're missing out on, so you just don't understand because you haven't had that experience. Okay, let's do an exercise. Put myself in your shoes. Imagine you tell me that you're straight, or you tell me that you are gay and you like to have relationships with those kinds of people. And then imagine if I told you, oh no, you've never had sex before, or you've never actually been in a relationship. So you don't actually know what you're talking about. Sex is horrible. It's bad. Nobody actually likes that thing. You just haven't had it, so you don't know and you don't have the experience. And you also can't say that you like it because you've never done it before. Like that's not that would not be okay for me to say. It would also not be accurate because that's not how things work. That's not how preferences or attraction works at all. Let's go to the next point. This has been said to me personally multiple times on multiple different occasions, and that's you just need to heal from your sexual trauma. Okay, you see that picture? Get out. Now I'll sum it up with some final words. Really, the biggest takeaways, the thesis of this presentation, the main points, the best things that you should remember. If you remember anything at all from this video, it should be this. This is the concrete proof, the facts, the truth about this situation and this matter. To summarize, I am asexual. That is as much proof as you need. Perfect case closed. I'm so glad that you understand now. I'm so glad that you're on my side and that I've done my part. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this silly little video. I wanted to make it because I got the idea and I thought it would be funny, especially because of all the images that I included. This was really just one big excuse for me to share all my favorite asexual memes with somebody. I also wanted to make this because there is not a lot of asexual awareness, and I wanted to bring some awareness to the word and to the topic since some people just really don't know anything. And there also are not a lot of asexual creators, and so I wanted to change that by making something centered around asexuality and have a little fun. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week.